hot today, y'all. You can't imagine. If you don't live in Texas, you just don't know. Or anywhere that it's triple digit weather, I tell you. I don't know why, but it seemed like today has been exceptionally hot. Cannot get motivated to get things done. I don't feel like I have any energy, and I think that's my allergies. Because when my allergies really bother me and there's so much stuff in the air that I'm allergic to, I feel tired all the time, and that's the way I felt when I first woke up this morning. I didn't even want to get out of bed. But I managed to get laundry done. I managed to get other stuff done. I've still got more to do. I still need to vacuum. I haven't vacuumed yet. But anyway, I thought I would go live and just talk to everybody. It's too hot to do anything else. Too hot to do anything else. I got 12 people watching so far. I don't know if there's anybody in chat yet. Let's see. Oh, we got Tamara Douglas, and we got Joanne Jaworski. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Guzawowski. I don't know. But anyway, and Kimberly, hello. Hello, ladies. How are y'all doing this evening? Are you staying cool? I'm trying my best to stay cool. Lucky's trying his best to stay cool. He was in the chair, but look where he is now. He got back at the back door, laying on his back. He was on the chair sleeping till I went outside and got my towels and sheets and brought him in. And when I came back in, he was at the back door curled up asleep. He thought I went out the back door, but I went out the front door. So when I come in, he was still laying there because I didn't open the back door to wake him up. The humidity has my back and hip in bad shape. Yeah, we don't basically have any humidity here. It's just hot. So hot. Hot and dry. Everything in my garden is drying up. Yes, we're live, Joanne. We're live. And you're in live chat, so I can read your comment. It's too hot for the birds to be even out at the feeders. They're staying in the trees in the shade. Feeling hot, hot, hot. Yeah, I'm hot, hot too. And there's Donna. You have dew points that are tropical. And there's Claire Quinn. Hello, Claire. And Linda Gilbreth. Hello. Welcome to live chat this evening on a Saturday evening. Like I was saying earlier, it's too hot to do anything unless you're swimming in the water to cool off, and then you get sunburnt, and then you pay for it when you come home. So is it worth going swimming or not? Unless you can stay in the shade. Put a t-shirt on so your shoulders don't get sunburnt. Oh, you made some delicious hummus today for snacking. I've never made any. I'm going to have to try making some one time. Donna Hinkle's in the house. Yep, it's been a long time, Donna. I've been trying to go live more often now. I got 28 in the house already. Watching your video should carry hand basket when picking, yellow. Yeah, I usually do. I've got a nice basket in the shed that I usually use. When I had so many tomatoes and bell pepper last year and jalapenos, I'd carry my basket around with me and I'd fill it up. But this year, I'm not getting much of anything. I mean, the whole season started out crazy with all the heavy rain and the flooding we got. And then it switched immediately to triple-digit weather. And my poor plants have suffered. They started producing, and then they got full of green tomatoes. They got peppers on the plants. And then that triple-digit hit, and everything just stunted. It just got stunted and stopped. What tomatoes were on the plants ripened, and that's about it. What few peppers I got, was mostly cayenne peppers. Because every time I've transplanted bell pepper, the bugs eat them up. I think I've got the bugs under control now. And I've got a handful of bell pepper plants I need to get out so they can get in their own pot and start growing. So at least I'll have bell pepper before the first frost this year. So I guess that's going to be a lot of my fall garden planting is going to be the bell pepper transplants. You had rain there today, Diana, but another heat wave is coming. I'd be happy for a day of rain, I tell you. But I looked in the forecast. There's no rain in the future anytime soon, and it's going to be like 103, 104 for weeks now. It's 97 degrees right now at almost 6:30. At 6:22 p.m. Yeah, it's been way too hot for anything. And there's Stevie Rock. Hello, Stevie. How you doing? How's your Saturday night been going? Oh, I'm not going to give up, but it's discouraging. Counting the water restrictions and then this crazy summer that hit us. My poor plants don't know whether to grow or curl up. And out of all those cucumber plants, I have not got one cucumber. I thought I was going to get a couple, but like I said, the bugs ate the cucumber. The little baby 1-inch cucumber, the bugs ate it. And I know they ate it because you go out there and look the next day or two, and the little cucumber's completely gone. It's not even dried up on the vine. It's gone. I just showed Lucky. He's right here at the back door. There he is. Laying on his back with his feet up. Guarding the door. So he's fine. The couple of times I went out, he went out with me. And he wanted to come right back in every time I came in. And he'd meow at me like he's fussing at me. Like it's too hot to be out here. We don't need to be out here. And he curled up in the chair and went to sleep. So I went out the front door to go to the line where I had my towels and my sheets hanging to dry. And I brought them in. And he heard the door close, but he thought it was the back door. So he got off his chair and he got over at the back door, and that's where he's at now, sleeping at the back door. Because he was wanting to see when I came in the door. Time to go dancing. I think my dancing days are over, Tamara. That was one of my favorite exercises, was dancing. But the way my back and neck is right now, it's painful just to walk. So I don't think I'll be doing any dancing. Who knows? It may help my back if I did get up and dance a little bit. I've only got one zucchini and squash plant alive. And I haven't gotten any squash or zucchini. And I don't know if it's a squash or zucchini. Because I had them planted in a row and I had them like a zucchini, a squash, zucchini, and a squash. They all died. The heat got them. So I stuck some bell pepper down in the pot. And there's one plant left, the squash plant. And I said, well, if it ever produces anything else, I'll know which one it is. Rain dance, yeah. Kimberly says I can't dance now either, but if I did, I'd be at the ER. Yeah, that might completely throw my neck and back out. Can still do the rain dance. I got into a belly dancing class one time because I liked the instructor. Her husband was part of the ROTC program with the high school, and she taught belly dancing. And I got in her class just for exercise and to hang out with everybody. And there was some of that stuff that was hard for me to do because it would irritate my lower back, and I'd pay for it the next day, or it'd get stuff out of whack, you know. So it was fun. I don't know how much I learned, but it was fun. And then the day that they were going to do a dance exhibition on the platform on the square for one of the holidays, I don't remember, it might have been 4th of July, I got bronchitis. I got so sick and I was running a fever, and I didn't even go to it. She was wanting me to do a solo, and I thought to myself, well, maybe it's a good thing I got sick, because I don't know if I could have made it through a solo and been sane about it. Well, I do like to sing karaoke. That's one of my other favorite things to do, because, I did sing with the church choir for 20 years, and I love singing. But my allergies are so bad, I cough all the time. And that's why I didn't even have a concert this year at Christmas. Or did I? I may have done one and I coughed through the whole thing. I don't remember. But that's one reason I cut back on the concerts too, is because my allergies are just so bad they won't let me do anything. It is a lot of fun. You use muscles in belly dance, and sometimes you forget you even have, like your stomach muscles and stuff. Oh, well, good, Kimberly. Your brother did come and fix your sink for you. Did he have to replace the faucet? And there's Angel in the house. Hi, Angel. Lucky must be dreaming. He's kind of whimpering in his sleep over here. So I know he's dreaming about something. Maybe he's dreaming about another cat. That brings me back the time you sang those gospel songs. Your voice was pretty, and you can sing along. I had to get a new faucet, and we were so shocked at the price. Well, my faucet really wouldn't have cost a whole lot. I mean, it was like $189 for a new one. One just like the one that's on it was a little less. But I had decided at first if I was going to replace the faucet, I'd get one of those that come up kind of high. And then I changed my mind, and then I didn't need the faucet anyway, so I took all of it back. Your church choir has water bottles? Diana said, this year I've been doing fixing my house. Well, good for you. Your house is an ongoing project. Don't think just because you even got a new house, fixing is done. You even got to do stuff with new homes. And years ago, I thought really strongly about buying a new mobile home and replacing this one, or putting a new mobile home on one of my other lots, side lots, and renting this one out. but they were so expensive. Oh my God. And they weren't built any better than this. And some people that I know had just got a double wide manufactured home, a double wide mobile home basically. And they said it was pretty, but they said, my God, my cabinets are falling apart. Everything's coming apart in it. It's built so shoddy. I mean, they look fantastic when you walk in them and look around, and oh, you get taken in by how nice it looks, you know. And then after you start living in it 6 months to a year, you realize it's not built, and it's not built good. It's not worth the money you paid for it. And that scared me, because the one I was looking at, they wanted $30,000 for it. That was years ago. You know, that was not recent. They wanted $30,000 for that thing. And it didn't have aluminum siding on it. It had that particle board, which my neighbor over here had just put one in with particle board on the outside. And it was only there a couple of years. And with the rain that we get, that's so constant, you know, we either get rain or no rain, and it all comes at one time. The outside of his panels, they were coming apart like cardboard. He replaced them with concrete panels. He said that way when the water hits it, it's not going to hurt them. But he said, I can't believe they put that stuff on these new homes, these new manufactured homes. And they put them on most of them. Most of them have that. And he looked at me and he said, well, if you get one with aluminum siding on it, you're going to pay a lot more for it. I said, well, the one I live in already has aluminum siding. So I'm better off where I'm at than buying this one, because I'd have to replace the whole outside of it in a few years. Oh no, you just keep it painted and the rain will never soak into it. I said, oh yes, it will. I said, my neighbor's outside of his house is coming apart right now, just like cardboard. And it's that stuff right there on that house. He didn't have any comment on that. Yeah, it's always a project, Diane. I've got so much more I need to do on this house. But right now, the way my back and neck is, I'm not physically able to do the work myself. And so far, I've not found anybody reliable or that I trust to do it. No, I don't want to get in debt. I got a roof over my head. I got heat. I got cooling. I got a stove to cook on. You know, I've got electricity. I've got lights. I'm not going in debt for no $30,000 or $40,000 another mobile home that might look a little better than this or newer, but it'll fall apart in a few years, and this one's still holding together. You got roofers coming to work on it when it cools down, yeah. Well, I used to get up and tar mine myself. I'd buy the coating, and mine was like a white coating that you just mop the whole top of the roof with, and it come in a 5-gallon bucket. Well, I'd have to leave it in the trunk of the car, open it, dip it out into a smaller bucket, and then take that bucket up on the roof with a mop. And the bucket was like the black buckets I've got in the garden. It was big enough to dip a mop in. And I'd be up there mopping the top of the house with it. And I saved myself a bunch of money that way. And my roof never leaked because I coated it every couple of years. But then I told my son, I said, I'm scared now to go up to the roof. I don't want to go on the roof anymore. So my roof was not leaking at all. But I finally, and I was still working, I was able to pay for it back then. And I had a steel roof put on. And that's when I had my carport put in. I had my patio covers put in, my porch cover, all that. And my new green shed back here. But, you know, I've had to replace the floor in this house. And it was just because the floor got wet. Pipes broke. got the floor wet and it ruined the floor, so I had to replace it with plywood. That's why I started in the hall and replaced it in there with the, I did videos on it. It's because the washing machine dumped a whole washing machine full of water in the floor because the drain pipe busted. So it ruined the floor. I had to go in there and put the plywood on top of that. That's why I got doing that. And I've got all of it done that I can possibly do myself. I can't do any more myself. My back and neck injury is not going to let me do it. Yeah, but I've got a back and neck injury, Chris, and it got worse after me doing the floor that I've already done. Because I did the one in the small bedroom. I did the one in my daughter's room and bathroom back there. I did the hallway. But I still need to do my bedroom. I mean, the floor is fine in there. There's no emergency to do it. But I wanted to do it. I wanted to do my floor, and my other bathroom back here hasn't been done. There was plywood put down, but it's not the second layer up. I mean, it's fine the way it is. I got carpet in there, but I would like to have that second layer put up in there. Well, when you got a back and neck injury and you're not supposed to be doing stuff like that, and you do it anyway and you push yourself to the limit like I did, and you start paying for it, and then when I had all the problem with the builders behind me, I ended up moving my cord line, my property fence line back to where the property line actually is. And I did that myself. And it's so rocky you can't dig a hole for a post hole. I hammered metal posts down in the ground, and doing that did something to my neck. It knocked something loose or twisted it around or dislocated something. I don't know what it did, but it's hard for me to walk now. I mean, I walk, but I hurt when I'm walking, and sometimes my leg feels like it's going to give way. So I'm afraid to do too much else. I should have left the fence line alone, because the cops know where the property line is, and I should have just, if they'd have come over to build behind my other two lots, I should have just waited and let the cops deal with it. But I said, well, if I have my property line marker back on the property line, then they can't touch it. They can't come past it. If they do, it's trespassing. And if they pull it down, that's destruction of property. So far, they've not done anything to those other two lots. They've just walked away so far. And they've also been told by the board of directors, the president, that from now on they were going to have to buy 2 lots to put a house that size on. That if they only had 1 lot, the house is going to have to be like 840 square feet, about the size of mine. Which mine is a big mobile home. It's a 12 by 65 foot mobile home. Well, I haven't even been to the doctor with it, so. But it would be nice to get up one morning and be able to walk normally and not be in pain. There's pressure on my spine or something in my neck that's affecting my legs and my arm. This arm more so than the other one. But like I said, I was doing all this stuff and I knew I was not supposed to. I knew I was not supposed to do anything with that fence because I was not physically able to do it, but I did it anyway, and I'm paying the price for it. So, and I know if those builders had not been harassing me the way they had, I would not have got out there and done that, because if they'd have been honest builders and going by the legal codes and legal property lines, they wouldn't even have thought of coming over on my property. But they did, and I can't undo it. Medicare would cover that as long as the doctor said it was necessary. But I went to my doctor years ago. I don't know if any of y'all remember it, but they had a recall on peanut butter, Peter Pan peanut butter, because it was contaminated with salmonella. I think that's what it is. And they told numbers that were on certain containers of it. And I wrote the numbers down and I checked the bottles or the ones that I had. And I had one of them. I had already eaten half of that jar of peanut butter. And I had been to the doctor already. No, I hadn't been to the doctor yet, but I ended up with an intestinal infection. And they say that that will give you an intestinal infection, all kind of problems. Well, I had an intestinal infection, which ended up with me bleeding all night one night. Scared me to death. I stopped bleeding the next morning. I went in to my doctor. I told him what happened. I told him about the peanut butter. And I said, I've got a jar that they've got the number on. And they said, if you got that number, you'll have a case against that company and you will be due a settlement. But you know, you got to have a doctor's report on that. And I told my doctor all that, and he just like, oh, well, you know, I don't know that you had anything. I don't know that that's what caused it. So, all my doctors that I always had before are not here anymore. My chiropractor had a heart attack and died, unfortunately, from harassment from his ex-wife. Ruined his practice. He had to move. And then later I found out he had a heart attack and he died. And he was a young man. He was barely 40 years old. Well, this was quite a few years ago. I don't even know how many. But after I went to the doctor and he didn't seem interested in anything about it, I just threw the jar of peanut butter away. I should have contacted the company and said, hey, I got a jar of this peanut butter. I've eaten half of it. I ended up with intestinal infection. You know, I was up bleeding all night. And they probably would have laughed at me. Because you got to have a doctor's report to get anything done legally. Take my hammer to the doctor. He said, well, you should have went to the emergency room. I said I was bleeding too bad to go anywhere. I said I was going to wait and see if it was going to stop. And if it stopped, then I wasn't going to go to the emergency room. But if it didn't stop by the morning, I would have went. But it stopped, fortunately. And all the pain stopped. It felt like a bad case of diarrhea, how you cramp and you got to go to the bathroom. Only I'd go to the bathroom and it was blood, just blood clots. Just blood. And it was scary. And I was afraid to go to the emergency room. I didn't want to call 911. Pay $800 for an ambulance ride to the hospital, which I guess Medicare would have paid for it. But yeah, that was a scary night. I switched brands of peanut butter after that. And Peter Pan was my favorite, the creamy Peter Pan peanut butter. I made all my peanut butter cookies and my peanut butter sandwiches and everything with that. I think I just saw your email on information part of the channel. I believe that's the one I need to use. I will write you and give you an address so you can send me the recipe. Well, let me know what the recipe's for. It's HauserLinda49@gmail.com. I was afraid I'd go to the emergency room. I didn't know what they'd do. I said, they might make me worse than better, you know. I just don't run to the emergency room for everything. It's got to be life or death. He said, well, you could have bled to death. I said, well, yeah, but I didn't. I quit bleeding by morning, so I'm here. The pain stopped and I quit bleeding. But I was up hurting all night long. And the pain started before I ever went to bed. And I just thought it was just my stomach, you know. And then I started getting up through the night, having to go to the bathroom, and I felt like somebody with diarrhea, with their stomach hurting real bad, like you really got to go. And every time I'd go, it was blood. Oh, jalapeno jelly. Okay. It was definitely scary. And with me, this thing doesn't stay exactly the same from day to day. I can walk better one day than the next. I'll hurt worse one day than the other. Some days I get up and I don't hurt at all, and I'm walking pretty good. Like this morning I got up, it's like, oh my God, I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. But that's neither here nor there, so it's over with. But I'm concerned about it now because I've been to the doctor, I don't know if it's once or twice since then, for my regular checkups. And he said it showed that I still had that salmonella in my system. And he gave me more pills to take to get rid of it. And I thought to myself, it should have gotten rid of the first time he treated me. But it was still there. And, you know, that's kind of scary to have that stuff in your system and you can't get rid of it. Linda, you just have to be careful these days. These games interfere with your life. Yep. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason. He just said, well, he said, if these don't do it, we'll give you something stronger next time. So I don't know. I mean, if you get the strongest that he could treat you to get rid of it, is it going to do any other harm to your body, or what's the problem? I would have wanted the strongest to begin with, you know, to knock it out, not worry about it. But I don't know. I'm not the doctor. Well, after my cancer scare, I've got to admit, I don't have much faith in any doctors anywhere. I probably have more faith in the one I go to than any of the rest. But I'm weary, you know. When you're misdiagnosed having cancer, they give you 3 years to live. They put you on chemo, then insist on wanting you to do radiation. And then even after surgery, they want you to come back in and do another whole year of preventative chemo when you didn't even have cancer to begin with. It's scary. Because I have a heart murmur. The last time I had any chemo, they changed it and gave me Red Devil. And I passed out almost when I come in my door when I got home. It was a good thing I had a driver that took me there and brought me home. But when I opened my door, stepped in and closed it, everything went black. I just twirled around and landed in my recliner, which is right inside the door, and just fell in the chair. And everything went black, and then just a couple of seconds, I was coming back to. But that was scary. And I told my doctor about that, my oncologist, and she made an appointment for me to go to a heart doctor. And he told me what I already knew, that I had a heart murmur. I was born with it, but it never really caused me a problem. And he said, you don't have cancer, you don't need any more chemo. He said, if you have any more chemo, you're going to end up back here to see me, and you're going to have heart valve replacement. So he said, I would not take any more chemo if I didn't need it. So I didn't, and I told my doctor I'm not taking any more chemo. Because they told me right after, when I went in for my 5th or 6th week checkup after surgery, my surgeon told me, you don't have cancer. You never had it. That Dr. Freer up in Fort Worth that did the biopsy misdiagnosed me, or they got the records mixed up with someone else, and they diagnosed me with life-threatening cancer that I was going to be dead in 3 years, and put me on chemo every week. Lost all my hair, gained a ton of weight that I've never been able to lose, took 22 lymph nodes out of my arm, under my armpit over here, so my arm swells up. You know, that fluid gets in your arm and it makes your arm look swollen almost. It doesn't get too bad, but if you look at this arm and this arm real good, sometimes you can tell. And I begged my surgeon before she ever took out those lymph nodes, I said, can you please test a couple of the lymph nodes before you remove them? She said, no, we can't do that. Because I guess Medicare wasn't going to pay for that, or whoever was paying it. I think it was Medicare. And so she took them out, 22 lymph nodes, and she never had to take them out because I don't have the cancer. There was never cancer cells there to begin with. So see, that's why I am scared to death of hospitals. I'm scared to death of doctors. I'm scared to death of them giving you prescriptions you've never had. I just don't have faith anymore in the medical profession. And I know I had the best surgeon there was. I have to say that. She's the best surgeon anybody could have had, Dr. Chow. But she was going on from all the test results, all the information that the other doctors gave her, and she was going to do everything she could do to do the surgeries to save my life and all this. And then she realized after the surgery, when they tested all the tissue that was removed, you never had cancer cells at all. No cancer there whatsoever. Now, if I did, God got rid of it, or it was never there to begin with. You tell me, I don't know. But yeah, I don't trust doctors anymore. I trust the doctors I used to have that are not here anymore, unfortunately. But I'm scared to death to even go to the chiropractor now because I can't go to the chiropractor I always had before. He's the one that had the heart attack and died. No, I didn't sue him. People said, well, you should have sued him. You had a lawsuit against those doctors. I said, yeah, but at the time I was not in the frame of mind or mentally capable of trying to go through a lawsuit. I didn't know where to go, what to do. I had nobody here to help me with it. So I just let it go. I said, well, you live and learn. I learned my lesson. I'm real cautious. That's the reason I tell people, if you go to a doctor and you're ever diagnosed with anything serious, get a second and third opinion. It's not going to hurt. And your insurance will pay for those other opinions. When I had my back and neck surgery, I got 2 other opinions from doctors, surgeons, before I ever agreed to go through surgery. With the cancer, I didn't do that. I figured, well, there's no need to do that. But there was. I should have gotten other opinions on it. And it may have saved me from the chemo and all that other stuff. Because, you know, when you go through chemo, it knocks out your immune system. You can't go out in public. I couldn't go to work anymore, so they put me on Medicaid. Because they knew I was not able to go to work until years later when I could build up my immune system. And they didn't even help me with that. I started taking tons of vitamins on my own to where I could build up my immune system to get out in public and go back to work. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Kimberly. I don't know if there was never cancer there or if God got rid of it. I don't know. That's good lemonade. I'm so thirsty because it's so hot. Well, that's enough about me. Y'all tell me something in chat. What's going on with everybody? Oh my goodness, I got 75 people in chat right now. Or not in chat, they're watching. It's a good amount of people for being online 40 minutes. Yeah, my son, when I was first diagnosed, he like to went off the deep end. Before I ever went to the doctor to begin with, I did have a lump in my breast. I have to admit that. But I knew my mom always had fibrocystic cysts. And so I expected, well, that's probably what I've got, more than likely. So I contacted this clinic that was in Colorado, Oklahoma, or somewhere else. It's Colorado or Oklahoma, I don't remember. And that's where they sent me this medication to put on my skin, to rub it in. You didn't take it oral, you rubbed it on, and the medication was absorbed through your skin. And they said if it was what they were thinking it was, that would help reduce the lump. And you'd know it wasn't cancer. Well, that's how I realized I was allergic to coconut oil. That base for that medicine cream that I rubbed on my arm was coconut oil. And after 3 days of using it, I broke out in hives. And I contacted them. And they said, well, you're allergic to the coconut oil. We'll send you more cream, but this time it'll have grapeseed oil. And they said, our knowledge, nobody's ever been allergic to grapeseed oil before. So they did. They switched it and sent me that. And I started using it. It didn't bother me. But it took me 2 weeks to get rid of the hives that I broke out with. And they were not fun. And it did start shrinking. But when my daughter found out about it, because I didn't tell anybody, you know, when I told my daughter about the lump, she insisted I go to the doctor. Oh, she wouldn't let me rest. You have to go to the doctor. You got to get checked out. Well, that's what got the ball rolling. I went to the MD here in Granbury. He made the appointment for me to go to Fort Worth. And they started their testing. And then they sent me to Dr. Freer's office, who did the biopsy. And they were the ones that diagnosed me with, what was it, 4th stage invasive ductal carcinoma. Gave me 3 years to live. And that was back, was it in 87? And I'm still here. Well, I started taking the blood pressure pills years and years ago when the doctor prescribed me. I didn't even question it, you know. But later I realized it was my allergies that made my blood pressure go up so much. Because the days that my allergies are not bothering me, I'm not in an area where there's anything that I'm allergic to, my blood pressure's down. Times like this, when it's extremely dry and hot, and there's so much dust in the air and pollen and all this other stuff, then my blood pressure will go up because I'm breathing all that. And that's what makes me tired. It affects my breathing, and it feels like you're not getting any air, and it just makes me tired and run down feeling. And it's nothing but allergies. And I told him one time I was almost ready to stop taking them to see what would happen. He said, well, I don't think you want to stop taking them. As long as you've been taking them, he said, it wouldn't be a good thing. And I know there was one time I forgot to take my pills one night. I don't know, it may have been 2 nights I didn't take them. But I was doing a live one time, and all of a sudden I felt like I was going to pass out, and I was live doing this, And I think one of the Tamara was here that was the nurse, and there was somebody else that was a nurse that was in my chat. And they were saying, well, maybe your blood pressure, your blood sugar's low. Eat something, get some sugar in your system. And then I got to remembering, oh my God, I didn't take my blood pressure pills. Maybe that has something to do with it. So I got up and got my pill and took it. And it took it a while for it to work because it's got to dissolve and kick in. But after it kicked in, I was fine. And I went through all that in a live. I was, there's no telling how many thousands of people have watched that and watched me go through that. All because I forgot to take the blood pressure pill probably for 2 nights. Because I take mine before I go to bed. They took you off your blood pressure meds and thyroid meds recently. Well, how's your blood pressure? If they took you off of your meds. Or are you getting something from the health food store that keeps your blood pressure low? He was going to put me on cholesterol medicine, and I refused it. I said, no, let me try to get my cholesterol down myself, and if it doesn't go down, then I'll take your meds. Well, by the time I went back to the doctor the next time for him to check my cholesterol, because I go get all the blood work once a year, he just shook his head and looked at me. He said, you don't need no cholesterol medicine. He said, your cholesterol is down lower than I would even have hoped it to be. So he said, you don't need any. But are you taking anything for it, Kimberly? Are you taking anything to keep your blood pressure down from the health food store, or you just don't take anything at all for it now? I'm curious to know because, I'm taking stuff. If I could get off of these pills, I would too. Taking nothing, huh? Well, did you change your diet, or what did you change in your life that got your blood pressure down to where you didn't need the blood pressure pills anymore? I mean, I would think something took place. I don't know. Maybe God lowered your blood pressure. But I fought allergies ever since I've lived here. I got sick 3 days after I moved here and have fought allergies ever since. I mean, drastically fought allergies. I had allergies in North Carolina, but not like here. I never took allergy pills or anything the whole time I lived in North Carolina. I would get bronchitis like in the spring. Sometimes I'd get it in the fall. But, you'd get sick for a day or two with a high fever, and then you were fine. Just rebounded. Been fasting in the early day. Oh, wow. Well, good for you, Kimberly. Yeah, all glory to God. Yeah, Annie says, my doctor said you can't get off thyroid pills. Tell me what you did to get off of them. Yeah, it had to be a miracle of God for you to get off of both of those. High blood pressure and thyroid. Both at the same time. Unless you never needed them to begin with. Now that could have been the case. I might be too skeptical, but I'm one of these people that believes, they call it a doctor's practice. They have their medical practice here. They got their medical practice there. And I say, yep, that's exactly what it is, because they're practicing. They're giving you pills, and if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, they'll try something else. You're the guinea pig. If it works, it usually ends up on the counter being sold in the store, so you don't need a prescription for it. You've been prayed for. Well, good for you. Oh, wow. Well, that's the reason when I usually pray for anybody, I also ask for prayer for myself, because I know I need it too. But I didn't have the money to pay anybody to move those posts and move that cable back, so I did it myself. And I guess that's what did it, because a couple of days after that, I relaxed and I felt something in my neck move, and I've had trouble ever since. One day it'll be in my arm to where it hurts bad I can't hardly move my arm. Another day it'll be down my side. Some day it'll be down one leg. It moves around. It doesn't stay exactly in the same spot. So I keep hoping, well, one of these days I'll wake up and it'll be back the way it was before. Maybe it'll stay there. Hasn't happened yet, but we'll see. I've had fatty liver. If I get that fixed, do you think it possible to get off thyroid pills? I don't know about any of that. Yep, I don't know anything about thyroid pills or any of that stuff. See, this is one reason I like to go live, because you get in these chats and you find out information that's very helpful. Well, haven't you noticed that, Diana? Like the eye drops that I got for my eyes after my surgeries, they were because I was slightly allergic to the lenses they put in. And these eye drops were for allergies. And it was prescription when I first got it, so my prescription coverage paid for that. I didn't worry about the cost of it. And I was only using that for a couple of years, and all of a sudden, I was informed the insurance don't pay for the eye drops anymore. You got to buy them off the counter. Well, they're $20 for a little bottle this tall. And I know you only use a drop or two in your eye at the time, but still, a little bitty bottle, a little bitty bottle that big for $20, y'all. So I was at Brookshire Pharmacy or Brookshire grocery store one day, and they have a pharmacy. I just walked up to the pharmacist, because he was at the counter, and I said, I've been taking Pataday eye drops, were the ones I got for prescription. And I said, they've put them on the counter now, so my insurance won't pay for them since they're not prescription. I said, can you tell me the next best thing to that particular eye drop? And he said, yeah. And he showed me this one, Zaditor, and that's what I've been using. And it's $12, 12 something, but that's a little bit less than 20 something. So I've been using that. I said, well, I'll use that, and if it stops working and I need to switch to something else, I might accidentally switch back to Pataday for a short time and then switch to something else. And they don't pay for any vitamins. If you can buy vitamins over the counter or the The prescription coverage will not cover any of it. Well, that's one reason I got my sauna, because I get in that and it, it relaxes me. But that's when all of a sudden I relaxed so much that it moved in my neck, and I've been paying for it ever since. But that was right after I moved the fence line. I think it was too much hammering and it was too much jarring going on, vibration toward my neck, because I've had neck surgeries. I don't have any metal in my neck, which they do a lot of that nowadays. When you have a ruptured disc in your neck, right away they put metal in your neck. They didn't do me that way. They put, my surgeon shaved my hip bone and made like a paste with the bone that he shaved off of my hip. And they replaced the part of the vertebra and the disc in my neck. And then it turned, after so long it grows back into like bone. And it's like regular bone. I don't know. But that's what they did back then when I had my surgery. You have to pay $30 for your eye drops. I don't know how much they cost now, because it's been a couple of years since I've bought eye drops that I've been buying these, and I haven't even checked to see what Pataday cost. It may cost it more now than it did then. But when you're living on Social Security retirement, you got to watch every penny you spend. There's a big lump of money between $12 and $20 some dollars for eye drops. So a lot of times I'll get the package of two little bottles for basically almost the price of one of Pataday. So, and it seemed to work pretty good. That's why I've been using it. Yeah, I asked that druggist, I said, what is the best next eye drop for allergies down from Pataday? And he said Zaditor. He said Zaditor and Pataday are almost the same thing. So why pay $20 some when I can get this for $12 something? Yeah, and one time the doctor prescribed a real high dosage of vitamin C for me, and I think that was right after the cancer deal. And I think that was the oncologist that prescribed it. And I figured, well, if she wrote a prescription for it, the insurance will pay for it. Oh, no, they didn't. I went to the drugstore, I turned that prescription in, and they said it'll be X amount of dollars. And I said, what do you mean? I said, it's a prescription. Doesn't my coverage take care of it? She says, no, ma'am. They don't pay for anything you can buy over the counter. And said you can buy this high dosage vitamin C over the counter. So they will not pay for it. So I don't remember if I paid for it or if I just went in this Walmart and bought a bottle of vitamin C the same strength for cheaper. I can't remember, but I remember they wouldn't pay for it. So she said, well, they'll pay for any prescriptions that the doctors write, except for ones if they're sold over the counter and you can buy it without a prescription, the insurance companies will not pay for it. So I pay for, and that's where a lump of my money goes every month, is I buy my own cholesterol stuff. Well, it's not cholesterol medicine, but it's geared toward it's cholesterol. It helps keep all of the good stuff in your body that you need by taking these 2 pills to keep your cholesterol from going up. Because a lot of times you don't eat the right food, you don't eat the leafy greens and all the stuff out of your garden that a lot of people need to keep their body healthy. And that cholesterol is the next best thing to it. And see, they don't pay for that. And it probably runs me about 30 some a month for that or more. And then I pay for my own eye drops. I pay for my own vitamins. And I do take a lot of vitamins. I take a handful of vitamins every night. Vitamin C, calcium. Because when I first got injured when I worked at Walmart years ago, I know it was because my bones were weak. I was always allergic to milk. I wouldn't drink milk. I was not taking a vitamin supplement for it. And that's why I was hurt easily. And when I started going to the chiropractor and going through all of his maneuvers and was feeling real better, I started taking calcium on my own. And I went in there one time to be adjusted, and he said, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean, what am I doing? He said, your bones sound different when I adjust you. I said, well, maybe it's all that calcium I'm taking. He said, yeah, that'll do it. He said, your bones sound solid now. They didn't sound that way before. And that's one reason when I fell in my backyard, I got tripped up in bean poles and fell down the rock steps and fell on the rock walk on both knees and hit the shins of my legs on the rocks and felt like I couldn't get up. I mean, I was there for probably 10 or 15 minutes before I could even get up off of the walk back there. That I didn't break a bone. If it had been any other time, both of my legs would have been broke. And my ankles turned black and blue. My legs turned black and blue. My ankles swelled up. I couldn't go to work because I couldn't stand. But I could walk. It didn't hurt to walk. But I called in, and I worked at a Brahms at that time, and I called in to tell them that I wasn't going to be able to come to work the next day because I was going to explain to them I had fallen. It hurt my legs. I can't stand for a length of time, so I'm not able to work right now. And that antsy little lady that got on the phone, it was one of them young girls that was working at Brahms that answered the phone, just my luck. She had the worst attitude of anybody. And before I even got to tell her what it was, I said, I just wanted to let you know that I can't come to work tomorrow. Oh, I know, you got a headache. Plop, hung the phone up. I said, you bitch. I said, how dare you do that to me? She wasn't the manager. She wasn't a supervisor. She was just one of the workers in the food section that handed food out the door, to people that went through the drive-thru. And I didn't have the manager's phone number. I couldn't call her. So I let it go. I said I was just so disgusted. I was aggravated at myself because I got hurt falling in the backyard, working in the garden. But I tell you what, after that, I fixed the rocks at that arbor where you take a step down to go into the backyard in the back part of the garden. I got cement, and I cemented all that area to where my flip-flops can't get under the toe of the flip-flops can't get under the rock to trip me. And that's what happened that time. I had on flip-flops. I always wear flip-flops because growing up, I was barefoot all the time. And with my size feet, I've got narrow feet, and you can hardly find narrow shoes anymore. It's terrible. Used to I could go to Sears, JCPenney, I could go to MSN Shoes in Fort Worth. I could go back almost anywhere and find a pair of good, decent, narrow shoes that fit. Now I can't find them anywhere. So sandals, flip-flops, stuff like that are the most comfortable to my feet. I put on other stuff, they they hurt my feet. Now, I can wear sport shoes because they lace up. Even if they're too wide for my feet, I can lace them tight enough that they'll stay on my foot. But people shouldn't have to do that. And I went into MSN or whatever it is, shoes in Fort Worth, where I love to go because they had name brand shoes pretty reasonable. The last time I went in there, I looked and looked and looked, and I couldn't find narrow shoes. And I asked one of the sales reps in there, I said, what happened to all the narrow shoes? Oh, we don't carry narrow shoes. Everything is medium now. Because most people that come in here and shop have wide feet. I said, well, what are people like me that have narrow feet supposed to do? Well, there's high-end shops you can go to, but you'll pay a lot of money for your shoes. I thought to myself, gee, thanks. So that's one thing. If I found shoes that fit, were comfortable, they didn't hurt my feet, I would buy them. And I ended up with a lot of shoes, but a lot of them are high heels. And right now, I can't wear high heels. I don't trust my legs wearing and walking in high heels right now. All my shoes are flat. But I said I got a closet full of shoes and I can't wear them. And they're nice shoes too. And I said, God knows when I'll ever be able to find another pair of high heels that even fit the way the stores are now. Even JCPenney and Sears, all these other stores, they've even went to the same thing. If you can find a narrow shoe in their store, it's very few. I go to Shoe Rack and places like this here in Granbury. They got cute shoes. I'd love to have them. They don't fit. All of the slip-on shoes, the sandals are too wide. And unless they have straps that buckle over my ankles and, come over my foot, I can't wear them. And even then, sometimes the part that comes over the top of your foot is way too long. And I've got a gap between the top of the foot, my foot, and the shoe. And I don't want to wear shoes like that. Sometimes I believe we can be insurance poor. Doctors usually offer test results. Well, they give me the test results on the website. I can go check out any test results that I've had. Where do you mean to test them from, Tamara? What doctor when? I don't know. And there's Pat Watson. Yeah, that's one reason I'm weary of everything being on computer. I studied computers. I majored in computer science in college. I've got a degree in that. I understand computers. And I know how easy it is for a person to do a data entry mistake. And in the medical profession, when you're entering information on patients, that could be life-threatening. I know a lot of doctors got rid of paper backup files and they only go to the internet. They only keep everything on the internet, on their computer. But I feel comfortable if I know that doctor still has a paper file backup. I don't completely trust. I trust the computer. It's the data entry person I don't trust. Because I know personally how easy it is to make a mistake and not catch it. I was a programmer, and you had to be 100% accurate and correct when you wrote a program or it will not work. But I know in any other phase of computers, you can enter things. It may not work, but if you data entry, you can make mistakes all day long, not realize you're making those mistakes, but it can affect that patient's life, what you enter. And I don't trust it. Yeah, I mean, to get the diagnosis I got with cancer, somebody had to do data entry. Somebody had to mix up files, or something went wrong, or the doctor just totally misdiagnosed me. I don't know. Because after the fact, when they tested everything in the end, I never had cancer to begin with. But yet they gave me 3 years to live. And I probably only would have lived 3 years if I'd have went in and had that year preventative chemo. Because that heart doctor told me, he said, you go in there and have any more chemo, you're going to be right back in here with me, and you're going to have heart valve surgery done. Because that chemo eats up your tissue. And if you've already got a hole in your heart, what do you think that chemo is going to do? It's going to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, that's what I like to think too sometimes. I like to think that I just had a miracle. Maybe if there was cancer there, God took care of it. And I don't worry about it anymore. But I'm still wary of doctors. I can't help it. And I took ibuprofen for a long time for the pain, and I can get up, walk around, and do normal stuff, and I feel 100% fine, just normal, as long as I've got a high dose of that ibuprofen in me. But as soon as it wears off, oh my God, I'm hurting 10 times worse. And I said, well, I don't need to be taking all that pain medicine, because then it allows me to go ahead and do stuff I probably shouldn't be doing, and I'm just making it worse. So I quit taking pain medication. So I just have to suffer with being stiff and being weary of walking. And I'm just, thank God, I can still walk around. I can go to the mailbox. I can get in my car and go to town and at least buy groceries and stuff like that. The chemo was horrible on him. My brother just laid to rest yesterday. He lost the battle of cancer, small cell lung cancer. Oh, I'm so sorry, Stevie. Sorry to hear that. There was a young man. This kid couldn't have been more than 18 years old that come to the cancer center when I was there. And I was sitting there with the IV in me, getting my chemo like always. And they were in the same room, because there's chairs all around, people sitting all around you with getting their chemo for the day. And I heard him talking with the doctor. No, it wasn't the doctor. I think it was the doctor's assistant, which is almost like a doctor, but not actually a doctor yet. And he was standing there, and he looked like he'd just seen a ghost. I looked up at him about the time I heard her tell him, I'm so sorry, but it's back again. We're going to have to start the chemo again. That poor boy almost died. And to this day, I wonder if it really came back. Did he really have it to begin with? Or were they just trying to make their money? You never know. I went there one time, and when I went and got my blood work done, because every time you went to the chemo center, you had to get your blood drawn. They tested your blood. They did all this stuff, and then you went in and got your chemo. And that technician told me she was really upset, the one that drew my blood. And I asked her, I said, well, you seem like you're awfully upset. Is there something wrong? She said, well, yeah, my taxes. I said, oh, yeah, taxes are no fun. She said, well, I got my tax bill this year. And she says, I've only got $12,500 to pay on property tax for the year. I think I'd be upset too. But if she had to pay a tax fee of $12,500, she must live in $1 million home. Maybe she's living above her means. I don't know. She must make darn good money drawing blood. And God knows how much her husband did, because I don't know what kind of line of work he was in. But I thought to myself, there's no way I could ever dream of paying $12,500 just in property tax. He was too young, that's for sure, Stevie. 54 years old, yeah. But I told him. My doctor said, well, they were just trying to save your life. I said, well, maybe. But I said, somebody made a wrong diagnosis, and they were treating me for something I didn't have. And I said, they diagnosed me with what they did and said it gave me 3 years to live. And if I'd have kept going through chemo and everything they wanted me to do, I'd be dead in 3 years. Because I'd had heart surgery and everything else on top of the chemo. I'd have ended up dead in that 3 years. But I said, thank God I had honest doctors to tell me, like that heart doctor did, that you don't have cancer, you don't need any more chemo. And he said, if you go in and get any more, you're going to be right back in here for heart surgery. Because you got a heart murmur, and you're going to have heart valve surgery. And I never got any more chemo after that. And I told my oncologist that one day. I said, I'm not doing any more chemo. I don't have cancer. Well, we don't know that. I said, well, I know what my surgeon told me. And I looked at her, and because she kept on arguing with me that I needed to go ahead and do it. I said, tell me something. She said, what's that? I said, do you want to go through a year preventative chemo? She said, no, I don't have cancer. I said, I don't either. And I walked out. And you know, after that, the cancer called me 2 or 3 times a week. And I don't know who it was on the phone, but she'd say, you need to call here and make your appointment. You're due for your chemo. You better make that appointment. I ignored it, and I refused to call them. Finally, they quit calling. Because if I'd have went back, they'd have wanted to do radiation and all that. And like, no way. I'm not doing it. I said, I may die tomorrow, but I'm not going through all that when I'm told I don't need it. Yeah, I'm here. How many years later? This is 2026. This was back in, what, 1986, 7? I don't know, somewhere along in there. Maybe in 92, I don't know, somewhere way back there. A lot longer than 3 years. And the day I went in the hospital, I actually had pneumonia, and I didn't even know it, for the surgery. And they did surgery anyway. But when I come out of the hospital, my pneumonia was gone. My doctor filled me so full of, I guess, antibiotics and everything else that the pneumonia didn't have a chance. And I never had pneumonia before in my life. But it was because of all the chemo, knocking out my immune system. I couldn't fight off getting bronchitis or pneumonia. What did I have for supper? I had warmed over chicken dumplings. Actually, it was a late lunch. Late lunch and early dinner combined. Well, I'm just so sorry about your brother, Stevie. I hate to hear that. I've got a lot of people around me that I've known. I've got some people that are my daughter's age that have died. And, it's just like, it's unreal when you hear about all that. One of the foster kids I worked with, I found out she passed away a couple of months ago. A friend of hers called and said, Winter passed away, and her funeral is so and so, and told me exactly where it was at what time. And she said, if you know of anybody that else that would want to go, let them know about it. And I questioned her. I said, what in the world did she die from? Because she was like 24 years old. And she had a little girl, little toddler. And they said she got bronchitis and couldn't get over it. Go figure, 24-year-old person dying from bronchitis. She got sick. Yeah, that's even worse. He was a dad, hard worker, loving father. That's sad. I am just so sorry to hear it. How many children did he have, Stevie? Lucky's flipped over. His head is at the opposite end now. I keep hearing him rattle at the door. But he's flipped over and his head is at the opposite end than he was when I showed you before. And his belly's toward the door. He's something else. Yeah, let's get on a lighter subject. I mean, I don't want to bring people down. I don't want I like a uplifting, cheerful live. There's MT. Howdy, MT. You staying cool in your neck of the woods? It's awfully hot here. Still 95 degrees. It dropped 2 degrees while I've been live. Church I go to, he had cancer at 55 years old, and when he went back, his cancer was gone, and now he's 80. Wow. Good for him. Well, I said if I'd have went back and had any more chemo, because my hair had grown back. Thin, but it grew back. Because my hair used to be twice as thick as it is now. If I'd have went through any more of it, I'd have lost all my hair. It probably never would have come back. And I don't like wigs. Oh my God, I don't like wigs. Yeah, miracles do happen, Kimberly. Pippentine said we made some sort of Philly cheesecake, poor people style. Well, it still sounds good. I love Philly cheesecake. Cheesesteaks, that is, not cake. Cheesesteaks. I think the best one I ever had was the football game I went to with my daughter and my son-in-law up in Fort Worth. It was one of the big games. And they had... I don't know if it was the Four Tops or who it was singing at halftime. And it was rainy that evening. But we didn't get wet because we were under like there was people sitting above us, and we were sheltered. We weren't sitting down there on the, like, close to the field. But it wasn't raining hard when we got there. It just sprinkled once in a while. Didn't rain enough to stop the game. And me and my daughter got the Philly cheesesteak. And we split it because it was so big. Oh, that was the best Philly cheesesteak I've had in my life. I've gotten one since then at Chili's. But theirs was not half as good as what you got at the football stadium. I don't know what the difference was in them, but it was better. You've been eating chicken salad. Well, I warmed up my chicken and dumplings because I had a big bowl of that left, and I put part of it in a smaller bowl and heated it up, and that's what I ate before I went live. I said I don't want my stomach growling because I didn't eat lunch. I did eat a sandwich for breakfast earlier. But I love chicken and dumplings. When I make a pot full of chicken and dumplings, I eat on them for a week. I'll eat on them till every bit of that chicken and dumplings is gone. None of it goes to waste. None of it goes to compost. I've been known to get up and heat up chicken and dumplings for breakfast. Pizza as well. I'm due for a pizza, you know. I ate chicken and dumplings last night. Friday's usually the night that I do pizza. But I don't want to do a pizza video every Friday. People get tired of seeing a pizza video all the time. Sounds good. We did a video. You'll have to see what you think. Oh, okay. I'll check it out, Pippintine. Oh, and I got a message that one reason that they thought that some of the trolls were not coming into my live the last time, or not the last time, the time before that, is because they've been waiting until I tell everybody good night and I click the button to end the live, because there's a lag in when it stops on the laptop. So they figured out they've got time to type in some offbeat comments. And I forgot to check. I just happened to think of it. They told me to go back and check the very last of the live where the comments are and see what they said. And I've been meaning to do that off and on today, and I'd get busy and I'd forget. But I'm going to go back and look tonight and see what the comments were. And I'll go back the last live that I did, and I'm going to check the end of the comments there at the very end of the live. Because she said that's where they put them in. That's why they didn't come in during the live, because they didn't want to be blocked or anything else. They waited till the very end when I didn't see it. They had just enough time to type it in as I clicked the button to end the live. You didn't see any comments, Kimberly, or you would have... Yeah, that's what I'm figuring. I said, well, if they were comments made while... I'm sorry. If they were comments made while the live was still up, I'm sure my moderators would have noticed it and done something about it. So there may not be any there for me to see. But I'm going to check just in case. I don't remember who sent me the message about that. I really don't, but somebody did. It was somebody that evidently was in the live and saw it. Look at this cat. He is so funny. If you can do a close-up of him, he's rolled over and he's got his head laying over. His head's facing this way. Laying flat at his back. He's the first cat that I've ever owned that lays on his back. I've never had a cat that did that. I said, he just lays down like a person. I think he thinks he is a person. He's a sweetheart. Yeah, he's guarding the door. He's going to make sure he knows if I go out that door or not. Because if I go out that door, he's going to go out. And then when I come back in, he's coming back in. What time I went out in the garden this morning, because I told you I water some of my garden with my washing machine water. I went out there and made sure that the washing machine hose was in the raised beds. I moved it around at different times and then came back in the house. He was out there with me. He laid down on the wood chips and was meowing at me the whole time. He was probably saying, I don't know why you're out here. It's too hot. He is part Maine V. I don't know what that means, Stevie. He just twisted back around. He's facing the door now. You should see my little toy poodle. She is curled up on the blanket. She's old. I bet she's cute. Is that how it's spelled? I don't know what you're spelling. Main V? Main V? He's a huge cat. Well, Lucky's not too big. He's not real tiny, but he's probably an average sized cat. He's stretched out with his paws up on the door, and he's looking facing the door. And then he's got his feet stretched out toward the door. And every once in a while, he'll move one of his back feet, and his toenails scratch the door. He's silly. He's a silly cat, but he's a sweet cat. He is a huge cat, huh? I don't know what breed of cat he is. All I know he's orange tabby with a lot of white on him. Since it started getting warmer and hotter, he won't go near his little cat bed. I guess maybe it makes him too hot to lay in there. He'll probably use it again in colder weather. Cold, hard Toronto, watching from Toronto, Canada. How's the weather in Canada today, cold, hard? You probably got cooler weather than we do. It's in triple digits here in Texas. I like this too. I thought it was bright and cheerful and looked like summer. Warm, about 80. Yeah. It's 95 degrees here at, what time is it? Oh, almost 8 o'clock. 8 p.m. Yeah, it's been triple digits every day, and it'll be triple digits every day for the next week or two. Or longer. With no rain. The ground's cracking. And I'm able to barely put enough water to my plants to keep them alive. It's too hot for me to do something outside. I go out early in the morning before 8 o'clock, or I go out about this time in the evening to do anything outside. And then I've only got about an hour before it's so dark I can't see what I'm doing. Well, my AC keeps my bedroom pretty chilly. Chilly enough I'm under a blanket when I go to sleep at night. And I sleep pretty good on the nights that I can sleep. But you know, there's been many a night that I just tossed and turned and I was up all night. I couldn't sleep. Last few nights I've slept like a baby. Too hot for you? I got 70 people watching here right now. 72. 55 thumbs up. Way to go. Terry said Maxine's cat, Mr. Fecal, was in rare form today. He's been after the squirrels. I don't know that I've seen Lucky chase squirrels or anything. I don't think he has anything to do with them. Now, if he sees another cat come up in the yard, he don't like it. And he'll let them know he don't like it. And if they don't leave, he'll fight with them. He said, "You're in my turf. You're in my territory. You don't belong here." Yeah, it still affects us. The heat does. Like I said, with my allergies as dry and dusty as it is now, That's what made me so tired today is my allergies. I breathe and I'm breathing all that stuff I'm allergic to. And it just makes me tired. Like I don't want to get up and do anything. Oh, he'll see one and then start crouching his way over to him. I've seen him get down and get ready to pounce, but it's usually at a grasshopper or something like that he's seen in the grass. He'll get down like he's hiding from it and wait for it to get to just the right spot, and then he'll plunge at it. But he's playing. He don't really want a grasshopper. He's playing. He's found something to play with. Sometimes when I let him in the house, all of a sudden he'll start running. He'll run from one end of the house to the other. And I laugh at him. I said, Lucky, what are you doing? It's like he's making a racetrack out of the house. Oh, well, my vacuuming may wait till tomorrow. I may not even vacuum tonight. I said I was going to do laundry and vacuum today, and I got the laundry done. Don't have the vacuuming done yet, but I can do that anytime. I don't have the president coming to see me, so it don't matter. Nobody's going to come to my front door and say, well, you haven't vacuumed yet. I'm calling the doctor Monday. He's already put a shot in my hip last Tuesday for bursitis, and I am still so... Oh, no. I'm sorry, Kimberly. Oh, Diane Hinkle said, sorry, I had a call. I'm back. I didn't realize you were gone. But glad you're back. I came across a post today. I think it was on Facebook or somewhere else. I don't remember where. It could have been on YouTube. It was a picture of Trump with words written across the thumbnail. And it says, do you believe that illegal aliens should be taken off of Social Security? Tell me something. How in the world does an illegal alien, someone from out of the country, here illegally, ever get on Social Security to begin with? They were saying that they got $2,500 a month Social Security check. They get free health care. They get free this. They get this, that, and the other. When people that have lived here all their life, worked hard all their life, and paid into Social Security can't even get that much. And I looked down at the comments just for the heck of it. And most of them were like me. They were like, the first comment they said, well, how in the world did they get on Social Security to begin with if they're illegal aliens? By all means, they should be taken off of Social Security. They should never have been put on it. They should have never been given free health care either. Well, you could find that out from your pharmacist, Diana. You don't necessarily have to wait till you go to the doctor. You could find out from your pharmacist just like I did. I mean, he wasn't even my pharmacist. He was in the pharmacy at Brookshire's. And I was in there going to buy eye drops, and I didn't know which to get that was the closest to Pataday. And I asked him, and he said that this Zaditor was. Yeah, really. I need to be an illegal alien If I get $2,500 a month Social Security check, I don't get half that much. Well, I do, but by the time they take out for Medicare, it's not even $1,000. They're getting $2,500 a month with free health care. I need to be illegal. Tell me how to sign up. I'll say I'm from Timbuktu. I'm not from this country. Just give me $2,500 a month. That's more than I make with YouTube and my check coming in each month. I typed in a comment and I said, yes, they should be taken off of Social Security. I said, how in the world did they ever get on it to begin with? I don't believe people are getting $2,500 Social Security in the United States. That's hard to believe. I do know most people that are on Social Security retirement, they get a lot more than I do, but they made more on their job than I did. Most of the jobs I worked here were minimum wage, which really plays a number on my Social Security check. It wasn't until I got out of college that I made more than minimum wage, and I didn't have that many jobs for that many years then. Because I was already almost 30 before I ever graduated from college, so. And then I found out real quick that a lot of the businesses back then were scared of people that knew computers, because most business owners didn't know squat about a computer. That's when all of the business were just first starting to switch over to computer systems. And they didn't trust people, and I don't blame them, because you could get the wrong person in there to set up your computer system, and they'd be the only one that could do anything with it. You couldn't do squat. And I knew a person that did that. They lost their job, and they realized they were going to lose their job, and they knew why. It made them mad. And before they were ever let go, before their last day, they ended up sabotaging the computer system with all their work programs in it, and fixed it to where the owner of the business couldn't even access his own files. It's like that was payback for them treating him the way he did and him losing the job. So yeah, it was hard for me to get a job. And there was not that many businesses back then here in Granbury. This place has grown leaps and bounds. I mean, there was maybe 4 restaurants in this town years ago. Not a lot of businesses. That's when we had regular Walmart. It wasn't Super Walmart yet. We did not have Home Depot or Lowe's or any of those businesses here. So there wasn't that many places that you could get a good paying job here in town. You had to drive to Fort Worth. And then when you drove to Fort Worth to make more money, it all went in gas and oil and maintenance on your car to drive back and forth every day. So sometimes I don't think you were really better off, except that it was paying into Social Security. And if you'd have kept making more money, you know, you would have made more on your Social Security retirement check. For cholesterol, I take COQ10 for cholesterol. I don't even know what that is. Well, I know a friend of mine, I think he was getting like $1,400 a month Social Security. And that was because he retired early, because he just said he couldn't do it anymore. And he retired as soon as he could. So you get less on your check each month when you do that. If you wait till full retirement, you get the full benefit. You retire early, they cut it. And you never gain it back. So he was definitely getting more than me. And I don't know if that was before Medicare or after. I don't know if that's after they took out from Medicare and he actually got that in his checking account or what. Yeah, I always thought I'd like to rent one of those apartments in the retirement complexes out here that they're building on the lake. And they've already got a bunch of them on the lake. But oh my God, they're so expensive. And those little apartments, oh my God, it's like not even half the size of this house. Your living room is basically a couch and a little chair and real cramped and real small. Your kitchen is basically just a counter with a stove and a sink and refrigerator. Your It's really tiny. I was surprised at how tiny the apartments were when I worked at Lakestone Terrace, which that was a retirement apartment complex. Everybody that lived there were retired people. But they were real small. And they ran like $2,000 a month for one person, for one bedroom. For two people, 2 bedrooms, it was more than that. But where I worked, their meals were included as long as they went down to the dining room at meal times. Their meals were included in that rent. They did have a shuttle service that they could use to take them around town. They did have like a laundromat on site if you wanted to use it, or you could have a washer and dryer in your own apartment. But it costs more. Or if you had your own, you could put it in. We might have to start raising and selling gerbils to help buy some groceries. Yeah, I may have to get some rabbits. They breed really fast. They multiply fast. I wonder how the market is on rabbit food. Rabbit meat. I had friends of mine that lived across town that had rabbits one time, and they said they were multiplying so fast they had to sell them. They couldn't keep them. They just had so many rabbits that it was crazy. I've never eaten rabbit that I know of, and I don't know if I own the rabbits, if I could eat them, I mean, I love little rabbits. I had a rabbit as a pet. I couldn't eat the rabbit. Oh, I bet so. But most of the people that rent the apartments there, it's usually couples, which they have more of an income than one person. Or it's people that had maybe their own businesses, or they made quite a bit of money when they were working. So their Social Security or their retirement checks are a lot more than mine. They can afford $2,000 a month. I can't. Yeah, I got to checking on the rent on those, and I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "I thought it'd be nice if I could rent one of those when I didn't want this place anymore, and I just wanted something smaller and didn't want to have to deal with cleaning and all that. Because you can have room service if you want it. They come in and clean your apartment for you. But at $2,000, no, I don't have that much money coming in." I don't even have $2,000 coming in. I think it's destined for me to be poor till the day I die. I've never had enough money for anything. That's just been the way it is. But I thank God for every dime that I have had, everything that I was able to buy. There's been some really tough times when I didn't think I was going to even put food on the table, and I had to cut back on groceries quite a bit. Sometimes I wondered if there was even going to be any food on the table, and when it wasn't much. But we made it through, me and my kids. I don't think I would want to turn my money over to them. Well, I don't know how much it is for two. I forgot. But I remember for one person it started out at $2,000 a month at most of them. I don't know what this new one that, I tried to show you on one of my road trip videos one time when I went across 377 Bridge, Lake Bridge, on the right. They were clearing all that land right on the lake. They're putting up a retirement complex there. But it being a newer one, it's probably going to cost more, if anything. I don't think it'll cost less. Yeah, I've had to know how to stretch a dollar my whole life. My first marriage, I had to know how to stretch. I choke pennies. I teased my son a couple of times. I said, I don't just stretch a dollar, I choke pennies. Because I never let a penny out of my sight. If I had a handful of change, most people would have thrown the pennies down somewhere and said, the heck with it. Me, I gathered my pennies. There's been times when I literally went to the store with a plastic baggie full of change to pay for what I bought at the store. That's how tight money was with me. And it kind of tickled me because one day, I don't know if it was in the Dollar Tree or one of the other dollar stores or what store it was in, I saw another lady do that. She was counting out all her change to pay for what she got. She said, I have to. My money's so tight, I've got to make every penny count. I said, I'm right there with you. I've done that many a time. Well, you know the old saying, the rich get richer and the poor get poor. The rich are going to make their money. Because all they have to do is raise your bills. The supplier raises the money on the company that produces the product. So the company that produces the product raises the money on the small people like us, the consumer. We're the one that eat all that cost while the top man's making all the money. But I guess I was better off for it because a lot of times there's things out there I can't eat. I'm allergic to it. So having such a small food bill or food money, I was only able to buy certain items at the store to keep food in the house for a whole week. So it was always stuff that I could eat that I was not allergic to. Like I couldn't afford whole milk, even if I could drink it, which I can't drink it. There's a lot of elaborate recipes out there that I'm better off not being able to buy all the ingredients for because I'm allergic to most of the ingredients. So it kind of made me stick to a allergy-free diet just by not having the money to buy a lot of stuff. Like I can eat dried beans. I can eat them all day cooked with biscuits and they don't bother me. I can eat my chili beans with cheese and onions chopped up and that don't bother me. And I make a whole meal out of those. I don't eat anything else with them unless it's crackers or something. Yeah, the 83 people in here listening to me rattle on. Caught you looking. I'm from Tampa, Florida, and the cost of living has gotten out of control. Rent, car insurance, home insurance gotten sky high. Lucky we still have no state income tax. Yeah, that's the way it is here in Texas. But I tell you, it takes every dime I scrape together to keep my bills paid from month to month. And I don't have a rent payment. I don't have a car payment. I don't have a house payment. It's all goes to taxes, maintenance, utility bills, gas for the car, insurance for the car, insurance for the house, insurance for me. Like I said, I'm counting the Medicare, my medical insurance, and the supplement, and the prescription coverage. I'm paying over $600. I'm paying over $600 a month just for that, every month. So I know I got to have about $700 to come in just to pay for my insurance, just on me. Well, I don't drive that much, so thank goodness I don't have that many oil changes. Right now, I've probably got about 25,000 miles on my car. And I bought it new in 2018 with 25,000 miles on it. Because I retired right after I bought it. And every time I go into the dealership for anything, they want my car. I mean, the manager there, he looks at me and he said, "Your car is what these people dream about." He said, "That's a buyer's dream right there." I said, "I know it is, and that's why I'm keeping it." Because he was wanting me to trade it in so they can sell it and make their profit off of it. And they'll make you think, well, we're going to let you have all this money towards your new car, when actually they ain't giving you squat for your new car. All they're going to end up doing is taking your car, sell it for money, for profit, and then you're going to end up with payments every month for 3 or 4 years. I'm in California. I drive a 2095 Honda. I don't know what that would be. I know a Honda, but it's not even 2,995 yet. It's 2,065. No, 2026. What am I saying? Tags on my car are $74 plus tax. Just well say 75. Well, I bought my new car when I was working, and then I tried my best to get it paid off early and have it paid off by the time I retired, so I didn't have to worry about the car payments. And I said, since I don't work a public job anymore, I'm not on the road every day. I don't put high mileage on the car. And you know, a car that's a 2018 Nissan Sentra that's got 25,000 miles on it, it's still a brand new car. Chat room on YouTube. You usually only do lives? Well, I do videos and lives. Most of the time I had almost always done my videos, but I've done a lot of the lives too. I'm trying to do more of the lives now than I used to. Typing is hard. What do you do your lives on? What's the topic? Or you just get on like I do and talk and chat with people? What kind of videos did you do that you don't ever get views on them? My plan is to start my pension from Northwest Airlines in 2.5 years, but I'm going to try and hold off on collecting Social Security until 67 in 4.5 years. Yeah, hold off as long as you possibly can, and at least get full retirement. Because like I said, if you go on retire early, Social Security will cut your check, and you never get that back on it. I'm 62 and I just chat. Well, that's what I realized in my lives. Most people like to get in a live and chat with one another, chat with me, and just have a good time. I used to try to do cooking stuff on the live or some crafts or something, but I said, why do I do that when people, they basically want to get in here and chat with one another? It's the next best thing to having somebody come visit you. Oh, I'm sorry, chat room on YouTube, that you lost your brother at Christmas. Your brother was 85? Mom is 85. Is your mother still alive? Yeah, I do too, because I don't get visitors during the day. I'm here by myself, and I don't usually talk to anybody unless I go somewhere. So when I get in chat, I get a chance to talk to people. Yeah, I found some fantastic people that have subscribed to my channel on YouTube. No, Mom was 85. Okay. Yes, Mom and I live together. You never get visitors. My brother's 48. Was 48. Pat Watson said I dozed off. Did we relax you that much, Pat? Let me get a tissue. My nose is running since I was coughing. Oh, man. Lucky finally woke up. He's still there at the door, though. But he's got his head raised up. He said he's listening to me talk. Listening to me rattle on. It's allergies. Chat room on YouTube. It's all allergies. I'm allergic to Texas. You have COPD? Well, this is not COPD. It's just allergies. Sandra, call me Sandy. Well, welcome to my chat. I love getting new subscribers. You're not seeing hardly anything. I don't know what do you mean you're not seeing anything? Huh. Let me check the picture. I can see myself on my YouTube, my laptop. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm allergic to Texas because everything out here I'm allergic to. The dust, the trees, the grass, the flowers, you name it, I'm allergic. I don't mind living here, but it is hot. I mean, we've been in triple digits for weeks, and we're going to be in triple digits for several more weeks with no rain to cool us off. What part of Texas does your friend live in? Or what part of Texas is she from? Yeah, I don't know why the other one people are having a hard time seeing anything. I'm seeing everything fine on my laptop and on my camera here. I'm not getting any messages that anything's going wrong. This is me here in California. Sandy said, I see you. I love your shirt. And that's Roberta Ackerman says, I love your shirt. I haven't seen you wear that before. I've worn it before, but I switch around, so you probably just didn't watch a video that I had it on in. I am no sure she is someone I met on YouTube. She is a doll. Who are you talking about? Y'all lost me. I love to hear the chat. I keep out 11 months old great grandbaby boy today. Tired. I'm listening. I can see everything. Well, good. I can see yours also, but not many others. I asked her if she lives on South Fork. Caught you looking says, I see you, Linda, and hear you by talking to people whose comments aren't appearing in the chat for me. Really? That happened last night. Some of the people said, where are you reading those comments from? Because we don't see those comments that you're reading. But I've got mine set on live chat. I'm not signed in. And I see all these chats that other people say they're not seeing. I don't know. Her name is Val. I got to talk to her on the Facebook. Lucky got back up in the chair now. He's right here under the laptop. Oh my goodness, we've been on here for over 2 hours again. See, I have so much good time chatting with everybody, I lose track of time. You are seeing me chat. Yeah, I see your chat room on YouTube. Yeah. I have mine set on live chat, which is all messages. So I guess if you have it set on just chat, you don't see every single person's message that they put in. I don't know. I don't even know why they would do that. Linda, I saw your Poshmark. Oh, did you chat room on YouTube? I need to put some more things on there. I'm running out of space to keep stuff, though. I've got so much that came in from YouTube and from companies that were sponsoring my videos, free merchandise, and then all the stuff that I've got listed on Poshmark, I've got stored here at the house. And I can't put it in the shed because The shed is not climate controlled. And I said, well, I can't do much more of it because I don't have anywhere to keep it all. Every time you go out, it changes, so you have to click on. Yeah, that's exactly right. You got to make sure you're on all messages to be able to see it. See everybody's message. Poshmark has a lot of stuff on there, a lot of good stuff, a lot of high dollar stuff. Most of my stuff is not too high dollar. I have 8,000 subs and never got anything. Oh, wow. Because nobody viewed your videos? This is a new channel. Oh, okay. Well, people do love to get in chats, live chats. They meet people. They get to chat with people. They get to learn things because they can ask questions, tell about problems they've had, and there may be somebody in the chat somewhere that they don't even know that can come up with a solution for them. That's one reason I love the chat. I've learned a lot from my subscribers just through chatting with them. And I know they've learned from me on some things. Like last night when I was live, I showed those little dust collector things you throw in the washing machine because mine doesn't have a lint filter. And one of my subscribers bought 6 of them while we were online, ordered them from Amazon because that's where I had gotten mine. The seller has done me so wrong. Are you not putting ads on your videos? Because you know that's how you get paid. If you don't ever have ads on your videos, you don't make anything. My channel is for a little bit of everything. It's gardening, composting in place, cooking, crafting, singing. Anything that comes up, that's what my channel's for. Just getting on here and going live and chatting with people, answering questions, asking questions. Tampa Bay desperately needs a Buc-ee's. We don't have a Buc-ee's here in Granbury. They got them in Fort Worth. My son stops at a Buc-ee's, I think, almost every morning going to work. First time I went over there, when he bought his Corvette, he took me for a ride in it, and he was going to get gas. And we went to Buc-ee's up there, and I had never been to a Buc-ee's before. I thought to myself, oh my God, this place is huge. It looks like a big shopping center, and it's a gas station. And people were everywhere. I deleted my 8,000 subscriber channel. Well, did you tell your 8,000 subscribers that you were starting your new channel? I would have at least told that 8,000 subscribers that I was starting a new channel and I was getting rid of that channel, that they needed to come subscribe to the new one. Yeah, the most people in chat since I've been going live lately, I mean, way before, I got quite a few in chat. And I'm loving it. It's 81 people right now that are watching. I don't know how many's in chat. Buc-ee's is like Walmart Supercenter. Yep. Yeah, like Wawa combined on steroids. No, I've never heard of a Wawa in Texas. That doesn't mean they're not here. I don't ever go out of Granbury. If I go out of Granbury, I'm going to my son's. Used to, I go to Fort Worth and places all the time. I don't go there anymore. Traffic has got so bad in Fort Worth, it's just like going to Dallas. I hated driving to Dallas. I used to go to Fort Worth to go to the mall and just look around if I didn't even buy anything, to get out of the house and do something different. I don't even want to drive there anymore. The traffic's too bad. And they've been working on all the interstate highways, and they make a mess up there. And it's like, I don't even want to drive up here anymore. Tell me, please. I can't figure it out. And there's Martha Medina. Hello, Martha. How you been? What can't you figure out, Candy Cane? Yeah, I noticed the last time I went up to Ridgemar Mall, my favorite mall to go to, a lot of it was shut down. A lot of the businesses were closed. A lot of the businesses that I love to go to weren't there anymore. They reopened at something else that I don't even care about. They used to have shows like entertainment on a Saturday. You could go up there and they would have dancers or something out in the opening, in the middle of the mall, entertaining everybody. Or something was going on up there. I don't think they do that anymore. I think the super Walmarts and Lowe's and Home Depot and all these businesses are wiping out the malls. Because, you can I call Walmart my one-stop store. I can get my food or just basically anything else I want in Walmart. And then right beside it, if I need lumber or something like that, I can go right next door to Home Depot. Sure, you can share my channel. Go ahead. But the way they've got even the lives now, you got to go in and you got to specify how you want your monetization to be. If you want to place the ads yourself, if you want it automatically done, and if you don't set it, you don't have any ads on your channel, on your video or your live, you don't make any money. I always have to go in and make sure all of my settings are correct before I go live every time. Upper right hand corner to the left X, there's two lines with a little circle. Click on that and go to the bottom screen and click on all messages. And in the live chat, there's usually an option at the top of the chat where you can choose chat or just live chat. And if you choose live chat, then that means you're getting all of the chat that you can see. Yep, just like talking. Mary Jensen's in the house. Haven't been on live much, but wanted to say hi and keep up beautiful videos. Well, thank you, Mary. You never came to YouTube for anything but to be social? Well, I watched YouTube videos before I ever started a channel. And I started a channel years ago where I would do my singing in. And I got, oh my God, somebody wiped my channel out. They fixed it so I didn't even have access to my own channel. So I restarted this one. And if I do any singing, it's usually a concert. Quit playing with my cords here, Lucky. He likes to get on in the chair, and then he's playing with the charger cords and the laptop charger cord. You're going to have it unplugged. Quit. Quit. You just looking for something to play with, aren't you? Don't bite my finger. I was just trying to pet you. He doesn't really bite you. He nips at you. And I think that's a cat's way of showing affection. He's not going to pet you, but he'll kind of bite at you. But he's not really biting. Lucky, quit playing with the cord. You're going to unplug my laptop. So you're going to get down in the floor and start pulling on the cord. You a silly cat. He's going back to the door now. Oh, he wants to go outside next time because he's raised up, scratching on the door. Let him out. He knows it's cooled off outside. He'll stay out for a while now. Since it's cooled off, the sun's not shining. It's too hot for that little fella out there during the day. And I don't blame him. It's too hot for me to be out there. Yeah, you can start watching other people's videos or get into other people's lives and pick up subscribers that way. Because sometimes if they like you and what you're saying in the chat, they'll check out your channel. Like MT and Pippintine, they have their channel, and they started coming into mine, and when I get time, I go check out some of their videos. I don't know what in the world y'all have been talking about, Candy Cane. Telling one another how to do something, and I missed part of it, so I don't know what y'all were talking about. I guess it was to get all the chats in where you could see them or see all people. Well, that's all I'm doing. I mean, I'm not really a seller on YouTube. I just produce my cooking videos, my gardening videos and stuff like that, my lives. And I'm not really selling anything, but I did have a few companies that started sending me emails and asking me if they send me this free product, would I put it in my video? And I said, well, sure. I mean, if they're going to send me something free, I don't mind using it in my video to let people see it. But I'm not really selling it. I mean, there's one or two items that have been on there that if people buy it through my link, I get a percentage of the sale. It's not much. It's just like $1 or $2. But other ones, all I got was the free product. I didn't get anything if you went and bought one of them on that link. So, like the arbor and the raised beds, I could make, I think it was like 10% or something off of a sale if a person bought it through my link with using my discount code. And I think I had one or two people that went in and bought it using my discount code, and I did get that little bit of a commission, but that was the only time. I mean, like the water pitcher purifier, they sent that to me absolutely free. I don't buy these products. I told them I can't afford to buy products, but if you're sending it to me at no cost, I'll include it in my video. So they did. But now it's got to the place where one of these companies they sent me an email wanting me and a link to go check out their product, which was a vitamin, a multivitamin. And they wanted me to buy the product and do the video, and then they would reimburse me for the product, the money I spent. I said, no, I don't do that. I don't buy products to advertise. I said, if you want to send me something free of charge, I'll include it in the video if it's something I think I would use or want. But I don't buy products from these companies. I can't afford it. I don't have the money to buy these products. And I'm just about got to the point where I'm going to start telling them, sure, I'll accept your product. I'll do a video or I'll do a review on it. But you have to understand, if I don't like the product, I don't think it's safe, or there's something wrong with it that I don't think people should buy it, I'm going to be honest with them. I'm not going to show that product and say, oh, this is the best product in the world, you need to buy it, and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to lie about it. And that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start telling them that. But after I told her that I was not buying anything, if she wanted me to send me the bottle of vitamins, I'll include it in the video. I'll start taking them and see how they are. But I'm not purchasing anything from them. So she quit contacting me. And I don't care. I don't have the money to buy their product. I've already got a supply of my own that I buy. And if they want me to try theirs and do a video on it, they can send it to me for free. I'll try it. I'll do a video on it. I'll do a review on it, whether I like it or not. And maybe I'll keep buying it. But no, I don't do my videos to get companies to sell me stuff. So I don't do that. Yeah, I don't ask people for money. I'm not asking people to buy products from my videos. Like I said, if these companies want to contact me, give me a free product just to include it in my video or do a short on it. Sure, send it to me. But I don't have the money to buy your product and then put it in my video. I can't do that. I'm doing YouTube because I've got to have money coming in. I don't have enough money to pay my bills now. I can't buy products from them. And I know they do help kind of boost your views and stuff while you're advertising for them. But still, it's not enough for me to buy their products. If I did, I'd spend all my money buying their products that I'm making, and I'd be worse off than what I started. Yeah, I don't like that either. Like if you're on Prime YouTube, that you can watch videos and stuff with no ads, but you pay for that every month. I can't afford Prime YouTube either. So if I watch other people's videos and stuff, I'll see their ads as well. I can't afford to pay monthly just not to see their ads. I mean, I'm not a rich person. And my chat has moved. Let me get it back on the screen. Who was that? It might not have been anybody I know. Yeah, all I ask people to do is watch my videos. Watch my lives. Because like I said, it's these companies putting ads on my videos. That's how I make money. It's by people watching my videos. I don't ask my people to send me anything. I don't ever ask them to send me money. I don't ask for products. I don't ask for anything. I just want you to watch my videos and hope you like them. Oh my God, and Terry, Maxine could start her channel. reviewing Raisin Bran and toilet paper. Well, she'd probably get quite a few views on it. They'd tune in just to see what she was going to say next. Or sometimes, you know, if an ad comes up on like a movie I'm watching on YouTube and I don't want to be interrupted by the video or the ad, I'll just like click forward. You know, sometimes when it first starts, you got to watch it a little bit and then it'll give you the option to skip it. You can go ahead and buy it. And I do that quite a bit. She goes through a lot of both. Well, some people think they can get on their channel and make people feel sorry for them, and they tell people they're so down on their luck, they need money desperately, or they can't pay their rent that month, or they can't pay their house payment, or can't pay their car payment. And maybe it's true, I don't know, but I have a hard time believing a lot of them when they do that. Just like I have a hard time believing these people that stand on the street corners or on the overpasses and take up money holding a sign, need money for food. And then they can walk away after collecting all that money all day, 2 blocks down the street, and climb in a brand new van, which that's been seen before. Yeah, I only ask people to watch my videos. If they watch my videos, I'm happy. They don't need to send me anything. Just like Daryl that just sent that whole box of beautiful stuff and cookbooks and little knickknacks. I mean, that was so sweet of him to do that. But, you know, I didn't ask him to send any of that. He didn't have to send it. He did it because he wanted to, and I appreciate it. The one thing that Florida has that other states don't have is Publix. We shop at Walmart, Publix occasionally, Target, but we never do Aldi's. Once in a blue moon, we'll go to Kohl's. Well, we don't have a Kohl's here, so I've never been in a Kohl's store. They've got them in Fort Worth, I'm told, but I've never been there. I used to shop at Target, but we don't have a Target here. I have to go to Fort Worth, or they used to have one in Weatherford or Cleburne that I went to occasionally. But we don't have a Kohl's or a Target here where I live. We've got a lot of stores and restaurants, but we don't have a Target or Kohl's. We have not Best Buy, Ross, which is a pretty neat place. We have Marshall's, which is a neat place, and that's only been here for a few years. But we got enough stuff in Granbury now. I don't really have to go to Fort Worth to go shopping. I can probably pretty much find whatever I'm looking for right here. Or I find it online and order what I need. There's a woman who shows all medical needs. She complains about everything. I called a woman, I don't remember the name of her channel, but she's one of the people like from Appalachia mountain area, and she was on there and what caught my eye was the title of the video. It was for adults only, and I said, now what has this lady got in her video that's for adults only? So I got in there, started listening to it, and she was talking about how all the young people dress today. She said, I was amazed at some of these girls. They're practically naked walking down the street. And that's what her whole video was about. Talking about the way the younger people dress nowadays, their attitudes, how they have no respect for elders or respect for anything. And I agree with all that. And I was surprised that she did a video on it. But I'm sure it got quite a few views. I guess gifting, or is that grifting, is a new occupation. I don't know. I've got several subscribers that just out of the blue send me stuff occasionally. I don't ever ask for what they're sending. I don't know that they're sending it. Just all of a sudden one day a box shows up and their return address is on there. But no, I don't ever ask my viewers, my subs for anything. I know their life is just like mine. They're struggling. Most people are struggling today. The prices are high. They have all they can do to pay their own bills. I don't want them sending me money to pay mine. Just watch my videos. You're helping me by watching my videos. The more views I can get on my videos and my lives, the more money will come into my bank account. And believe you me, it's not a lot. Even with 1,000 views on every single video, it's not tons of money. But it is a few $100s that has been helping pay my bills. And I need it. I've got to have it. But no, just watch me. Subscribe to my channel. That's all I ask for. And then get in my live and have fun with us sometimes. Chat with us sometimes. Argue with us sometimes. Give us good information. Give us pointers on what stuff, you know. That's what I like about the chats. You learn a lot in different chats all the time. Like talking about medical and prescriptions and one thing or another. I've got several nurses that are my subscribers. They give me advice on different things sometimes, or they'll explain a medication to me that I don't have a clue about. She cries and says it's sad, yeah. And I do feel bad for some of these people because, you know, there might be some of these people that are genuinely that desperate that they've got to have that money or they're going to be living in the street. But it's hard to tell who's real and who's not, you know. Yeah, I've heard some of those people say they make more money on the street corner just taking handouts than they do on a public job all day. So why should they work? They can stand there and let you give it to them. For one, I could not do that. In all honesty, my conscience would not let me do that. If I knew I was standing there on that overpass or on that street corner or in front of a business with a sign saying I'm down on my luck, I need money, can't pay my rent, or I need food, when I would walk away and drive away in a brand new van, that all that money I'm taking up for is paying for that van and probably for paying for my house, which is probably better than mine. They're just playing the part to make the money. I couldn't do that. My conscience would not let me do it. It's almost like stealing from people, you know. Some people say do not bring drama. Yeah, I try not to bring drama to my chat. But like you say, some drama is life. And fortunately, we don't dwell on the drama and the bad issues in my chats constantly. Once in a while, they'll pop in and we'll get on a topic of something that maybe sometimes I really didn't want to get on, but I'll talk about it. Exactly, chat room on YouTube. People need a place to go and talk to other people, get advice about things. Maybe tell what a hard day they've had. Maybe get advice from someone, you know. It doesn't hurt. That's what I've always tried to do, Kimberly. But, you know, when you're retired, you're limited sometimes. Especially when your Social Security check is a small one. Most people probably retired on a Social Security check that I get. would not even be living by themselves. They wouldn't even try to live by themselves. But I'm stubborn. And I said, I've lived here as long as I have. I want to live here right on for a while. I'm not ready to move and start over. I don't have anywhere to go to move and start over. Don't know of anywhere I want to go to move and start over. I was going to do that on my property in North Carolina, and I don't know, I had people keep discouraging me from doing it, so at CALT, there's not much SNAP benefits for anybody these days. Well, I don't get benefits from anywhere. I get a retirement Social Security check. I pay for all, Medicare like everybody. I pay for my own medical plan that goes with Medicare. I pay for my own prescription plan. Like I said, I pay over $600 a month for Medicare and medical prescription plan and supplement plan, all wrapped in a bundle. So I know I got to come up with that much every single month, regardless of whether I eat, whether I put gas in the car, or anything. Now, I'm not saying it's not all right to do that. I mean, there's some people that are really honest that are taking up money like that. They honestly don't have any food to eat. They don't have a roof over their head. They're probably living in a cardboard box somewhere. Now, I'm all for those people, and if I could help them, I would. I don't have the money to help them. But I feel for people like that, and there's people like that, honestly, all over the United States and this whole world. But there's a lot of freeloaders that found an easy way to make their money, and they'd rather have you hand the money to them than to go get a job. And unfortunately, you don't really know who is for real and who is not. Just on YouTube. A lot of people on YouTube can tell you anything on their video. They can tell you anything in their life. You don't know if it's true or not. Yes, I own my own home, and it's paid off, thank goodness. I own my own car, and it's paid off. Everything I own is paid off, but I have to pay taxes. I got to pay maintenance, upkeep, all this other stuff on it. Your mom and you were homeless, not by chance? Well, yeah, it does happen. I mean, it does happen. There was a long time there I thought I was going to end up living in my car. And I decided to give YouTube a chance and see what I could do. And it started bringing in a little bit. And I said, well, maybe I can do this. Yeah, I'm not knocking homeless people. I know there's honestly, truly, real homeless people out there, and they need help. They honestly can't afford a place to live. They don't have the money for it. They're lucky if they have money to go in a store and buy a loaf of bread and then fix their meal over a campfire. I know there's lots of people that way. You're home now? Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yes, I've been blessed too by all these fantastic subscribers that I have that watch my videos every day. Yep, God is good. Exactly right. Everybody goes through their own deal, It's all not just grins and smiles and happy times. Everybody goes through their hard times. And there are so many people today, even a lot of my subscribers, that have to watch every dime they spend. And sometimes wonder if it's going to be enough. I know exactly how it is. Again, that's why I tell my people, don't send me money. You don't have to. Just watch my videos. Tell other people to watch my videos. That's how you help me, is get the views on my videos. And maybe we can help you. You get in a live chat. You need advice about something. Maybe you got a question and you don't know the answer to. Ask it in a chat. Somebody could give you a real honest answer on it. I got Ken G2G in the house. Hello, Ken. Welcome to our chat. Yes, God is watching all of us. And I, for one, have a honest, clear conscience. I don't try to take from anybody. I don't try to be greedy. You know, I'm not begging people for money. I just want you to watch my videos. Watch my videos and be happy with us. We get to show who we are right now. Exactly. Caught you looking, said, I wish I had the money for a new Camry, but I don't, so I drive a 2007 Nissan Versa. I'm not a huge Nissan fan. I'm all about Toyota, but... Well, you know, I didn't think I'd end up with a Nissan either, but somebody rear-ended me. I was coming from a clinic because I was injured at work. They set it up for me to go to this clinic about 2 blocks from where I worked. And I had to get out on the 377 to go the couple of blocks down to where I worked and then turn off. I was pulled up at the red light, traffic going by like crazy, so I couldn't turn right on red. And this pickup come up behind me and rammed the back end of my car. I was driving a 2000 Cavalier. And it was a one-owner car. I'd had it for 20 years. It still looked brand new. It looked new. I mean, it was not all messed up, you know. I was getting ready to insure it as a classic. And this guy... Sorry. This guy rear-ended my car in his truck. He messed up the whole back end. And the insurance company totaled my car out because it seemed like the repair bill was going to be like $200 more than what they were going to pay to have it repaired. So they were going to total it. And once they total a car, you can only get a total truck title, to where you can only insure it for liability. You can't put collision on it after that. And that's what ended up having me to trade and get a new car. I knew I was only going to be working for a couple of more years. And I said, well, I need to get a new car now if I'm going to get one. And try to get it paid off before I completely retire. And I went around looking, and I only had a short time to look because I was in a rent car. Or most of the time it was a rent van. They were trying to sell me the van, and I didn't want it. But I only had time to go here in Granbury to the car lots to look for one. I couldn't find a car anywhere here that I liked. I mean, I'd get in the car to test drive it, and I'd just sit down in it, and I'd know right then it wasn't for me. I didn't even have to start it up to drive it anywhere. And I'd get out, and I'd say, no, I don't want this one. And then when I went to the Nissan as a last resort, because my son told me, Mom, why don't you go to Nissan? You went everywhere else. And you said you always loved my Nissan truck, my Titan. And it's always been a good truck. Why don't you go to Nissan and see what they've got? So I pulled into Nissan, and it just so happened they had my car pulled up to the front door of the office. I guess somebody had just test drove it, because it looked, it was spotless. And He said, well, from what you're telling me, that car right there is the closest to all the things you want in a car. Except it's 4-door and you wanted a 2-door. I said, well, I don't know. He said, well, go test drive it and see what you think. Well, I didn't think I was going to buy it because it was a 4-door. Usually all my cars have always been 2 doors. I got in that car, let me tell you what. I relaxed. I felt confident. I felt comfortable. And I just thought to myself, it's my car. Before I even turned the ignition, but I turned it. I started it up. I drove it down the street and back again. And I said, well, I guess you made a sale because I like this car. And I bought it. It had like 12 miles on it. And that was just where they drove it around the lot. And like I said, I got it basically paid off by the time I completely retired. And my son says, Mom, how in the world did you get it paid off so quick? I said, easy. I took every dime I could scrape together and eat beans and not high dollar food to get it paid off. And I said, when you pay for a car or a house, say they've got it financed for 3 years and you pay for it in 2. A lot of that interest and finance charge and all that stuff is dropped off of the total price if you pay it off in 2 years. So you save yourself a lot of money. The same way with a house. If you have it financed for 30 years, you pay for it in 20. Oh my God, you're going to save a ton of money in interest and everything else that they tack on to the end of that. You get that back. You don't pay it. It's not totally off of the price of your house or your car. I know because I had paid off a car one time before early after my divorce. I said, I need to get this car paid off, and I got it paid off for like $1,200. I don't remember how much was owing on it, but it was a lot more than that. But I saved so much interest and everything else when I paid it off early. All my cost was $1,200, I think. But yeah, I got my car paid off early. And I told him, in this house you bought, I know it's financed for at least 30 years, I'm sure. I said, the sooner you can get it paid off, the cheaper it's going to be. Because you'll save a ton of money in interest and all these other charges they tack onto your payment every month. Okay, chat room on YouTube, I'll check your channel out. You have a blessed evening, and thank you so much for stopping by. And I've got to get off of here, too. We've been on here, oh my God, 3 hours. 8 more minutes and it'll be 3 hours. We got to get off of here. I got to end my live. That's why I'm coughing so much, is I'm wearing my voice out. So thank you so much, everybody. 35,000 base model. Wow. $35,000 is a lot for a car. I think I paid $22 for mine. And you know the prices are just going up. And my car's fully loaded. You know, it comes equipped with the phone hookup, everything. And this is the first car I've ever had that I could answer the phone through my car, which is a real handy thing to have since it's illegal to hold a cell phone. And you shouldn't be holding it anyway because it's too dangerous. But anyway, getting back to the point. Thank you so much. Salvage title. That, you're exactly right, MT. I couldn't think of what they called it. It was a salvage title. And they told me that was the only thing I could ever get on that 2000 Cavalier after it was totaled. And I drove it for 2 weeks after they totaled it. You couldn't open the trunk lid. It was jammed shut because it was all bent up. But I drove it fine. I had no problem with it. And then one day they told me I'd have to bring the car in, that the insurance company was asking for the car. So I drove it up to the car dealership or wherever it was they told me to meet them. And I got a rent car. But I drove that car for 2 weeks before I ever had to rent a car. And then I drove a rent car for 2 weeks trying to find a new car here in Granbury when I finally come across the Nissan. And the minute I got in that car and sat down, I loved it. And I still love it. Yeah, y'all have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for coming in to my live. I've enjoyed each and every one of you. I hope you have too. Sleep tight tonight. Don't let the bed bugs bite, and stay cool. And we'll see you next time. Love y'all. Bye now.